To the La Florida Dominicana Gourmet Smoke Sessions. This is Gourmet Smoke Session number 8, and we're live in New York. We're in Great Neck, New York. We're at Tobacco Plaza, one of the very first New York retailers to carry La Florida Dominicana products back in the day, and one of the premier spots to buy La Florida Dominicana cigars today. So we've got some great guests with us. We actually have two of the owners with us this evening. We'll introduce them in just a few minutes, but we've got a really great menu plan for you tonight. And to get things started off, we also have a great cigar, which I'm going to get into here in just a few moments. But first, if you're joining us and cooking along with us at home, and you bought the package from meatandbone.com, our friends at Meat and Bone, you'll see at the bottom corner of the screen here, right here, we'll have the grill cam present at all relevant times. So if you're cooking along, the show gets going a little bit, and you see us, we're doing some tempered cooking here, which we'll talk about shortly. If you've joined us before, you'll understand what tempered cooking is. But if you need to follow along with the cooking, the grill cam will be right there at the bottom of your screen, and you can stick along with us the entire time and not lose track. Now, of course, we're going to cook our food and our beef we have tonight to medium rare. If you'd like to go a little bit longer, add about a minute extra on each of the steps that I do at the very beginning here. But let's get right into the show. We're going to welcome our guests here in just a few moments, but I do want to talk about the food and then the cigars first, because this is what it's about. Also, once you see the cigars at the bottom of the screen here, right above the La Florida Dominicana sign, boom, right there, is the phone number to dial in if you'd like to call Tobacco Plaza. There's some of the most friendly people on the phone. If there's any cigar you're looking for, they'll take care of you. You can ask for Danny or Randy or Billy. However, Danny and Randy are about to be on the show. So dial up, ask for Billy, and unless you want to be live on the show, I guess we can take your phone call and go live with that. But let's get right into the food today. So our package is very New York driven. We're doing a surf and turf. This is live right from the Meat and Bone website. We're doing the evening under in the stars. So what this is we've got a 2-night extravaganza planned here. Tonight we're hanging out at the store. We've got about 10 to 15 guys that are coming in. We're going to be doing a bunch of steaks. Along with what we're going to be cooking here this evening. And then tomorrow night, we're doing a 125-person dinner, which I believe is sold out. That'll be a private dinner at the Swan Club in Roslyn, New York. I just went over to the venue today. It's absolutely stunning. So really looking forward to that. And I'm daring people to raise the bar, because the bar has been set pretty high for the venue tomorrow night. I don't think it will be matched. But Swan Club tomorrow night and our gourmet smoke session here this evening. So here we go. The food for this week, for this episode, number 9, is a 45-day dry-aged prime porterhouse steak, 1 Caribbean lobster tail, 13 ounces, and we've got the LSA black truffle salt. Essentially what truffle is a fungus or a mushroom, and it's traditionally from Italy. That's where it generally grows. So that's where we have this one from. This is authentic black truffle. And right now we're getting into, I believe, the white truffle season we just passed. So summer truffles and black truffles are around the same time, summer and the fall. But these black truffles have a beautiful umami flavor profile to it. So umami is another sense, essentially, or another taste that you can experience on your palate. So that's what we'll be experiencing tonight with the black truffle. This is the first time that we've used it. If you've never used it at home yourself, you're going to end up using this for everything. I put it on popcorn. I put it on fish, chicken, you name it. If you want to give something a little extra flavor and a really complex experience on your palate, the black truffle salt is great. Now, what we're going to be doing here with the porterhouse steak is our patented tempered cook. We're going to hit high heat here on charcoal for short periods of time with long resting in between, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And then we'll jump back on Meat and Bone here, because at the end of the show, we do have several episodes that we are going to announce today. We have our June and July gourmet smoke sessions that we're going to announce later in the show. So we'll jump back on the website at Meat and Bone to check that out later, and we'll also highlight some of that. So the food here to highlight it, so you can see what this all looks like. This here on the bottom left-hand side is the LSA black truffle salt. We've got the 45-day prime 27-ounce porterhouse. That's the best of both worlds. You can see on the right-hand side of your screen there, we have the filet mignon, bone-in, and then the New York strip on the left-hand side. So we're going to have the best of both worlds. The way we're going to cook this is going to present some heat and introduce some heat directly into the bone. So the meat that's on the edge of the bone on the inside is cooked medium rare, just like the outside. And our goal is always with the tempered cook is to have it edge to edge, perfect medium rare. Also, we have our 13-ounce Caribbean lobster tail. This is the second time we've used this to do a surf and turf with. It was very successful. What we're going to do is we're going to cut right along the back of it. So I'll show you all that first once we get started cooking. And what we're going to do is put that on for probably about 10 minutes or so at the most. Lobster, you don't want to overcook it. It gets very, very tough. So we're going to do about 10 minutes with that, and we're going to use the truffle salt with that too. I do have one thing to admit in full disclosure. I couldn't find the truffle salt. I know Meat and Bone did send it to me, but I had about 6 80-pound containers to look through. And I'm going to be using the Fogo charcoal rub that we've used for some other episodes on the steak and a little bit of that on the lobster tail. But at home, you'll be using the black truffle salt. So if you're watching and I put on the charcoal and you're wondering why it's black and yours isn't, it's because mine is the Fogo charcoal rub. So there's a couple questions here. We've got, when are the Andalusian bulls coming out in a different vitola? The Andalusian bull, as of right now, is sticking to its same size. However, keep your eyes peeled for some media coming out and some press releases. We do have something fun we're doing with that in the next month or so. So stay peeled for that, and you may have an opportunity to pick something up that's a little bit different in that blend there. So thank you for that question. But we're here tonight for the cigars, and I want to bring on our special guests and who we're hosting with here and who's hosting us. But before we do that, I want to take our first session here of cooking. So we're going to take our truffle salt here. We're going to lightly sprinkle it. So take a look down here on the grill cam. Here we go. Of course, our grill cam is sponsored by Meat and Bone. So you want to use a liberal amount of salt on this. Hit both sides. And this is our first session on the grill. So we're going to hit it for a little bit longer time. We're going to do tempered cooking with a long rest period. So this is going to be able to take a lot of heat. So we're going to throw that right on top of the charcoal. We're going to go 2 minutes on each side. And then we're going to flip it up on its bone end here. And we're going to go about 2 to 3 minutes on the bone there. And then we're going to take it off for a resting period. And if you look at the far end here, you'll see the lobster tail. We're going to cut this lobster tail right along the bone. So you're going to start at the back where the little tail's at. And we're going to work our way up right down the center. And then we're going to spread this apart here, essentially butterflying it. And you'll be able to take your finger right along the inside of the muscle. So this is going to make it look great like it does at restaurants. You wonder, like, how do they get the lobster out of there? They do this. They close it, the shell up, and rest it right on top. So you got a beautiful looking lobster tail. We're going to put a little bit of seasoning on that, a little bit of salt. If at home you're cooking, you can douse it with a little bit of olive oil if you'd like to do that, and some lemon. But we're just going to go a little bit easy on the truffle salt. And we're not using a bunch of oils tonight. So we're about a minute in there. We're going to give that another minute. But while we wait that, let's bring on our host this evening from Tobacco Plaza in Great Neck, New York. Here it is right here. You can see Tobacco Plaza. This is their lounge. This is the front of the store. We're going to talk to them a little bit about the history. They've got a lot of history in this location, history and period in the cigar business. But here we are. We've got Danny Dickwich and Randy Holman from Tobacco Plaza. Welcome aboard, boys. Don't forget to unmute your microphone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, John.
How's it going in there tonight, guys?
Couldn't be better.
Yeah, it's going great.
So they're actually sitting right behind me, and we have a couple. Before we get into Tobacco Plaza a little bit, let's talk a little bit about the special cigar. Every session has its own special cigar. This is one of the more unique ones that we've done. It's very fitting for New York. So let's jump here to the cigar. We have the Long Island iced tea tonight. You can see the packaging there. So this is the Long Island iced tea exclusively for Gourmet Smoke Session number 8 in Tobacco Plaza here in New York. And this is what the Long Island iced tea looks like. It's an Ecuadorian Skirl wrapper. It has Ecuadorian Connecticut shade accents on it, and it has an actual Long Island iced tea on it. So this is going to be a full body blend, real smooth. It's based off of our Maduro cabinet line. Little barber pole at the top. I'm going to start lighting this up myself, but I think Randy and Danny are actually smoking that. But if you're interested in this, it's available just here at Tobacco Plaza. You can call them at the number below. They'll get you set up. They also have plenty of other cigars too. So ask them what they've got. They'll take great care of you, and they ship anywhere on the planet. So Long Island iced tea. I was really excited about this one, gentlemen. So it's fun to finally show this here at Tobacco Plaza, and I know you guys are smoking yourselves right now.
That is true, John, but it's not my first one this week.
So you
Yeah,
you
I'm
had
loving it.
yeah, Randy, had you smoked it until today or no?
Yeah, this is my third one.
Oh, good. So I've shipped these up. Not only Danny, not only have you smoked plenty of these, you've actually smoked these in the Dominican Republic, and I believe you actually physically saw the cigar before I even saw it.
Yes, I was in the Dominican Republic 3 weeks ago, and I was smoking one with Lito, and we had a really good time. But yeah, you guys shipped this 3 weeks before the event. We're glad. We haven't sold any yet. We were waiting for tonight. Tonight is the launch of the Long Island iced tea, but unfortunately, Randy and I couldn't stay away.
Right. One of the benefits is you get to smoke these things a little bit early as soon as they come in. And for me, this cigar is just about perfect for my palate. It's just smooth and rich, and it holds up all throughout. As soon as you light it, you get this great flavor, and it just this depth of this dark, depth of flavor, and it holds up throughout the whole cigar. It's terrific.
One thing, and I think this is what your father instilled in you and still does to this day. But one thing that you all do that's really interesting as a retailer, and by the way, I have flipped that steak. But you guys do as a retail shop is you will not bring in a cigar until you have actually smoked it and had a chance to see if it's going to fit the profiles of your customer base and the people that shop at your store, which I think is really special. I don't think that's something that happens all the time in the decision making process. If you guys can mute that real quick. But I don't think that happens all the time in the decision making process. I mean, you don't make the decision to bring that cigar in until you've all smoked it and have all agreed on it. And I think that's amazing. It's a testament to what's in your humidor. So tell us a little bit about Tobacco Plaza. Tell us a little bit of the history and where you all started and where you are today.
So I sort of feel like I was born into the business. My father started in the cigar business in 1973 or 72, pretty late 72. And ever since I was really young, I've always been interested and enjoyed the cigars, and I grew up around it. And yeah, that's true. And I was surprised as I got older that not everybody did that. I was always said, how could you bring in a cigar if you don't smoke it and make a determination that it's something that you feel other people will enjoy because of its quality or something special about it? So we've never taken a cigar in that we didn't smoke first and feel it was something special. And we've certainly, you know, decided not to take in a lot of cigars that we didn't feel had something special, something about the quality, not just, oh, it's very expensive because it's a particular name. Well, names don't mean anything. You take the band off, then you decide, has the cigar, and is it something that, you know, is of a quality that you'll want to keep going back to?
So I just want to highlight the grill cam here real quick. We've got the steak up on its end. You see it's taking some nice heat on its bone there. We're going to pull this off. We're going to let this rest for about 10 minutes. I'm going to put the lobster tail up here on the left just to kind of start it a little bit of warmth, but that's away from the fire. So if you see the lobster tail up there, it's not cooking right now. But another thing is not even, I go to humidors across the country that have thousands of boxes of cigars and different crazy amounts of facings. It's almost impossible to dig through things to get to the point where you like them. So I think it's great and it's unique to walk into your humidor where it's really well appointed, but it's literally every single cigar in there has a purpose. And anyone that walks in, even if it's not just a regular, is going to find something quite easily that they can enjoy because they're not digging through things as you've done the digging for them, which is really unique. So how did this start? You guys have been in business now for over like 50 years.
49. Next year is our 50th anniversary. And for our 40th anniversary, Lito made a cigar called the Triple Triple for us. 3 leaves of Lajero, 3 leaves of Maduro. And hopefully next year for our 50th, we'll be hitting up Lito again to make a special cigar for Marshall's 50th anniversary.
I think one of being a New England Patriots fan, one of the things that was most unique to me is the original store wasn't located here in Great Neck, but the old store had like New York Jets like The front looked like it was a New York Jets store, which was really uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, we find it a little uncomfortable when you're here sometimes for that exact reason. But we love you.
But you just make us uncomfortable.
This
So
just could be a little uncomfortable. Just around football season.
yeah,
A lot of talk about the goat.
yeah. I had one of my closest friends play for the New York Jets one time, and I remember I walked in during a game, and your dad said to me, he goes, "Hey, Carney," he's like, "how about you tell your buddy to stop holding? He just got a penalty on him." He's like, "That was the second one of the game," and I was like, I'm sorry." I went and sat in the back like a little dog with my head and tail between my legs. But gentlemen, tell us a little bit about what you like to eat, your culinary desires. I know Danny likes steaks very well done. We put a comment on the page there for some family, and I know I said if you wanted it medium to add an extra minute per step. The comment from your family, your son-in-law and daughter Shauna and Bradley was we add 10 minutes per step for Danny. So we can ignore that, but what are some things you enjoy eating at home, and what are some things that you may enjoy preparing or have had over the years that you like pairing with cigars?
I like pairing rum with cigars. I eat everything: Italian, Chinese, Greek, American.
Yeah, for me, I'll try anything. I mean, I'll try any food. There's nothing that someone would say, oh, you would, people are sort of nervous to try things that they haven't heard of or that sound weird. And for me, I'll try anything that someone makes. And if I like it, great. If I don't, well, that's okay too. But you know, I love pairing scotch with cigars. I drink a lot of, a fair amount of scotch. Obviously, steak is, pretty supreme. Um, but when I pair a cigar with steak, I'm going to have something that's darker, something that's Maduro. If I'm having some kind of seafood or pasta, maybe I'll smoke something a bit milder. So I mean, I definitely consider the richness of the food I'm eating as compared to the cigar that I want to smoke afterward.
So, gentlemen, I found a way. You don't have to unmute anymore. I can control you from my end, so you can sit and relax and don't have to be stressed about the muting.
We
Thank you.
weren't, but thank you, John.
Well,
So while we got you here, let's jump on real quick. We have some viewers here. If you're wondering if this is your first gourmet smoke session, um, wondering how you can get information on this, a couple different ways. You can follow us for the gourmet smoke sessions for La Flor Dominicana. We post these all on our Facebook page at La Flor Dominicana. It's also available at hackinggourmet.com. You can jump on here. This is the Hacking Gourmet website where we have episodes of our Hacking Gourmet show. Traditionally, that show is the second and fourth Monday of each month. This month we're doing the session. We're doing the session on the Monday that we normally have a show. But you can jump on there and click on Hacking Gourmet Smoke Sessions and see all the sessions that we have coming up. Has links to LFD and links to meatandbone.com to purchase those features that we have, the food features. It's different each month. We have a June session coming up. Our next session is going to be on June 23rd. This is with our friends at West End Cigars in Arkansas. One of my favorite trips. I love going out to Arkansas. So we'll be in Little Rock, Arkansas on June 23rd. We're going to be releasing this is in Spanish here, but it means La Cima Agula, which is the Razorback. So we will be doing a pork themed meal for that session. We'll be jumping over and doing some pork. So looking forward to that. We'll be doing tomahawk pork chops. And we'll also be doing that live at their store in Conway. That'll be West End Cigars in Conway, Arkansas, which is just outside of Little Rock, but they also have a nice store in Little Rock as well. But we'll be there live on June 23rd, and that package is live on meatandbone.com right now. So join us for that. They'll ship it right to your house in temperature-controlled containers, and it'll be ready to go for you to join us on that session. And all of our sessions packages are always available online. So if you enjoy what we have prepared tonight, and you didn't jump in with us, you can see that package live all the time on meatandbone.com. So if you want to jump in and grab that. And also remember at the time of purchase, if you want 10% off, to use the phrase hacking gourmet at checkout, and they'll give you 10% off your purchase. So right now, gentlemen, we're in a resting stage. So this is where the magic's going to happen. This is where we have given the outside of the beef a large amount of heat, and right now we're letting it absorb the heat. Also in this process, we are ensuring that the juices that could have been released from the beef are now reabsorbing into it. You want to keep all those juices in because that's where the fat's rendering down. And if that leaks out, it's going to take away from the flavor potential that we have there. So we want that to go back into it. So we're just letting it rest over there. We're going to rest for another 5 more minutes. Then we're going to put it on for a little bit more. It's coming along nicely. And then what we'll do at the end here is we'll get the lobster tail going for about 5 to 10 minutes. Keep an eye on that. And then we'll be ready to eat. And I think when we're ready to eat here, I have more food to cook for some of the guests inside. So, yeah, we got a meal. We're looking forward to having this, and we're ready to go. Danny, this question's for you, sir. Tell us a little bit about your cigar journey.
Cigar journey started about 24 years ago with Randy. Randy came to a Kiwanis organization function and was describing cigars and auctioning it off, and the money went to charity. And I never smoked anything. And Randy suggested a cigar, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, it was the company and the cigar and everything else. And then Randy told me about his shop, and then I became a regular at the shop. And my dad passed away about 19 years ago. I retired from my construction business, and I needed something to do. So I was going to open up. Randy's father, Tobacco Plaza was open from 8 in the morning till 6 at night. So I wanted to open up a after hours Tobacco Plaza. And Marshall said, why do that? Why don't you come into our company, join us? And I built a lounge downstairs, and we made that the after hours lounge. And then we put everything together, and we have 3 lounges now, 7 TVs, all the football and baseball and hockey and basketball games. And I've been part of the Tobacco Plaza family for about 19 years now. And that's how it started.
We always felt that you were part of the Tobacco Plaza family before you became part of the Tobacco Plaza family. So when Dad called me, he says, Danny was talking about this thing, and I kind of thought I would ask him to come be part of our store. I was like, that's genius. That's perfect. And that's very shortly thereafter. That's exactly what happened. It's been really a blessing.
Now, another unique thing with Tobacco Plaza, you've had a lot of special cigars made for you all over the years. I know you all have a very close relationship with the Aroa family, and there's a cigar named Randello that was made in your honor, Randy. And then Danny very publicly is in the cigar business with his own brand at La Serena. Tell us a little bit about how those relationships have played a role in the success of your business.
Well, that goes back, as you said, so many years. He became friendly with the biggest manufacturers, or who we felt at least were making the best cigars, who became very, very big before they were big. So, he was with, Lido, when Lido wasn't La Flor Dominicana, he was Los Libertadores in his very early years. We liked his cigars and we carried it. He became very friendly with them, and I grew up becoming friendly with all. And over the years, that has to make a cigar. Can you make something for this special occasion, or can you, we love this particular blend you make. Can you make it for us in a different size? And so we've had a lot of special editions made for us by some of the finest cigar manufacturers on earth, and it's been great. And Danny has relationships with these guys for many years too. And he comes to them and says, hey, I have an idea. I want you to make me something special in this size that's going to be like this, that's going to satisfy this, longing for this type of cigar. And then, oh, yeah, Danny, whatever you need. And they make these amazing cigars that you can't believe. Once you've smoked them, you almost can't believe that they didn't exist before Danny got people to make it for us, because they're so special. And we're so lucky to have that, because then we get to experience that cigar. We get to enjoy that smoke, which we never would have had but for Danny's relationship with these manufacturers, with these gentlemen and women who make these cigars, and because of Dad knowing all these guys and them loving him. And so it's been just terrific. Even just as a smoker, it's the ability to get to smoke these great cigars is so meaningful for someone who is passionate about tobacco and who loves cigars. And so we're very lucky to have had that, really.
I'll say, first of all, it's very hard not to love the passion that you all have. it's significantly hard not to love Danny. He's probably one of the most lovable people on the planet. So it's like I'm shocked when I meet somebody that doesn't really love him. I think it's because it's like too much love. They just don't know how to handle it, right? But Danny, you uniquely have been involved in blending of cigars and things too. And most recently, I think one of the most underrated cigars. And people ask me what I smoke on a regular basis, other than LFD. I'm obviously been partial to LFD for before I even worked for him. I'm approaching my 10th year with the company, so it's always been one of my go-tos, even prior to being with them when I first started smoking in 2003. But one of the most underrated cigars that I've had that wasn't an LFD product was a 10th anniversary cigar that you just blended that featured a lot of Mexican tobaccos for the 10th anniversary of a brand that you and your daughter started called La Serena. Tell us a little bit about that and what experiences you've had with other cigars led you into working on that blend, because I thought it was exceptional. And it was very highly regarded on a lot of the media sites. I know it was one of the top 25 cigars of the year with Cigar Coop. And it was, for me, it was probably the cigar last year that I physically purchased the most of myself. And it's not because of our friendship. I just really loved the cigar.
Well, that cigar is very interesting. Through Rene Castaneda, a good friend of mine who I've worked with, he introduced me to Alejandro Tarrant about 5 years ago. And Alejandro wanted to make a cigar for La Serena. So I told him what I was looking for. And unfortunately, at that time, in Mexico, you could only use Mexican tobacco. They were all Mexican puros. So he couldn't do what I wanted. And then I think 3 years ago, the Mexican government changed that they could import tobacco from other countries and put it in their cigars. So I went to Alejandro. I said, this is the right time, but I want to make a 10th anniversary cigar in 2 years. And it took a while to put it together, but I went down to Mexico because I really wanted to use Matafino in the cigar, and I wanted to use some Nicaraguan Ligero, and I definitely wanted to use the Mexican wrapper. So Alejandro, I went to Mexico and I smoked probably 60 fumas that day of all different tobaccos. And I put together what I thought would be the cigar for the 10th anniversary that I really, really wanted. And he had some old 10-year-old San Andreas Maduro wrapper that I had to have as the wrapper. And then we used some Brazilian filler, Brazilian binder, Nicaraguan filler, Dominican and Honduran filler. And I picked out the 6 different leaves that I wanted in the cigar. And then Alejandro, the master blender that he is, took the leaves and made me 10 different samples of different amounts of tobacco in different places. And I smoked them down in Mexico and I narrowed it down to 5. And then he made 10 more of 5 of each. And then I smoked those and narrowed it down to 2. And then he made me 10 more of each of the 2 of them. And I picked the one that I thought was what I was looking for. With the help of some friends, John, you smoked them while they were still samples also. And I had a lot of help. But I know what I like. I know what customers like. And that's what I made it for. And to steal a line from Manny Casada, a good friend of mine who's made cigars for Tobacco Plaza and La Serena, he has a line. When he made his 70th anniversary cigar, he said, "I made something I like, and if no one likes it, I'll smoke them all." And I would have smoked that 10th anniversary cigar as my everyday cigar. It sold out in no time. It was a limited production, and it was just a very special cigar that worked for me and obviously worked for people. I mean, we got a 91 rating in Cigar Aficionado. We got 94 rating in Cigars and Spirits. We got a 92 from Cigar Coop. All the ratings were 90 and above for a little company on a blend that I had a lot to do with, but I was not the master blender. But I'm very proud of that cigar.
Yeah, you should be. Now, I'm about to light up my Long Island iced tea here. So I'm going to show this off here again. If you want to pick this up, you can get it right here from Tobacco Plaza. Limited supplies because we're going to have a lot of these out tomorrow night at the gala, the night underneath the stars tomorrow at the Swan Club, which I don't think there's any tickets left, guys, right? Are there tickets left?
They're oversold out.
All right, we're oversold. We got tons of food, but oversold. I hope I brought enough. But the Long Island iced tea will be highlighted there tomorrow night as well. But you're getting the first kick at it here. And Antoine Hoffman, thank you for the kind words from Maryland there about the TAA cigars. We got a special one planned for you today. And Davidus is probably going to be on the books for one of these sessions in season 2 next year in 2022. So keep an eye out for that. But I cut this here with my Tobacco Plaza TP lighter cutter. I'm going to light it with my Tobacco Plaza lighter, Long Island iced tea. This looks freaking cool, doesn't it? I remember I sent it to Danny first, and he was with his daughter, and he was like, "What is it?" I was like, "I go, it's a Long Island iced tea." He's like, "It just looks like a." So I turned the cigar around a little bit. It was a bad picture, and I was like, "No, it's like a lemon and a little straw and like a little garnish. It's in a cup." So that's the Long Island iced tea. But you grab it here. I'm gonna light this baby up. Let's jump back to the grill cam real quick. I've done about a minute, minute and a half on each side here. We're gonna go back for another 10 minutes of rest. And this is only gonna get probably one more cooking time out of it. It's really tough with porterhouses because you've got a thin cut on the side of a fillet that doesn't have a lot of marbling, can't take as much heat. And then you've got a fattier cut on the left side with a New York strip that can handle a lot more heat. So we're going to try to cook this as even as possible. So we'll see how it comes out tonight. But that's the grill cam setup. And I just want to jump back here to the June session, jump on the website here, Meat and Bone. Just show we do have that package up here. There you go, the Meat and Bone Hacking Gourmet Bundle Kit for June 23rd. That's going to be a great pack, $80.99. You can jump on there now and grab it if you want. 2 pork tomahawks. We're going to be using the notorious PIG rib rub. And this is going to come with a charcuterie board too. This comes with different meats and cheeses. And we're going to be using the the Grill Masters Chef Edition chimichurri sauce made by Meat and Bone exclusively for them and by them. So that package is on there now. That's for our June session. The July 4th session, I'm looking forward to talking about. We'll bring that up in just a little bit. But let's jump back while we're in the resting period to our guests here, Danny and Randy. And you can see we got some more people in the house, which is nice. I said I'm about to light this baby up. But Danny and Randy, what is your favorite temperature to have your steak cooked at?
Medium well.
I can't say that I have a favorite, to be frank. I like it, not to be cute, but always. I guess over the last several years, I've been enjoying it medium rare, but I've had rare steaks that I've absolutely loved. When I was growing up, everything was well in my house. My parents were like, burn that steak. And I learned to really love that crust. So one of the best steaks I've ever had, or the ones that I've enjoyed the most, was at an Italian restaurant out east, and they dry aged their own meat. And I had it black and blue, and they made it perfect. The outside was beautifully dark, and the inside was very rare, and it was a delicious steak. So I just love flavorful, wonderful steak, and I'm not, married to just one temperature.
Yep. We did have a question on here. Our friend at the Daily Ash, we appreciate all the support. He started advertising for all events going on, virtual and in-person events. So if you have a chance, follow the Daily Ash on Instagram. He does a great job, but he doesn't miss anything. But yes, Meat and Bone does ship to Hawaii, so you can get it there. Use the Hacking Gourmet code, Hacking Gourmet, for the 10% out at discount, 10% discount. They'll get you set up, but they do ship to Hawaii. It takes like 5 days, but it does come temperature controlled, so it's in good shape. We also have another comment from some family members here. Danny lied. He likes it well done, only for him. I will say Danny thinks that's medium well. He does think that's medium well. I don't know if he's accepted that as medium well just so he can stand out. But he does prefer it cooked quite well done. But you have eaten some steaks of mine that you've enjoyed. The dry aged stuff you like because it's not as juicy. The texture's different.
Yes, I just really don't like it bloody. So when I go to fine steakhouses, I ask for it medium well, and it really comes out barely medium. But I'll eat steak as long as it's not bleeding all over my plate.
Yeah. And then we also have our friend Evan Darnell. This guy right here is the strongest Jewish man. He'll claim it himself, the strongest Jewish man I've ever met. He took like a year off from lifting and bench pressed 225 pounds like 37 times last week. But he's also the leader of the Red Meat Lovers Club, one of our partners here at Hacking Gourmet, and we do a lot of things with them with cigars. And Evan Darnell, thank you for watching. he's going to be doing some stuff up in here in New York. He's a New York and New Jersey boy. So as soon as they can get back up here again, they'll be back up here in New York doing some great Red Meat Lovers Club events, and we'll probably be part of that with them. So really good time. If you have a chance, check out the Red Meat Lovers Club as well. As you can see over here on the grill cam, we're still resting, and we're about 5 minutes away from probably playing with the lobster a little bit. We're going to get that on there. We're going to let the lobster rest a little bit at the end. You don't have to temper cook as much with that, but I also don't want to overcook it, so a little bit of resting's fine when you're doing seafood, especially shellfish. Is good. We're going to have the heat go up through the shell itself, so we'll have that there. So we'll jump back to the grill here in a little bit. But I think this is there's no better time than now to announce our official July gourmet smoke session. So this will be on the 4th of July. This is going to be totally virtual, and it will be with our friends at Jack Schwartz in Chicago. This is one of LFD's premier spots for over the years. Really good friends of the family, and Jack Schwartz in Chicago. It's been a tough year in Chicago with the COVID situation, so we'll be doing a fun 4th of July event with. Here it is on the website. So we're right here on the website. Pull that off, get back on the website. So you can see our session package there. Prime tomahawk ribeye. We're going to top that with bacon-infused salt, because what's more American than bacon-infused salt on a steak? And then it comes with a set of steak hot dogs. You jump it up here, let you see what's on there. It's going to be coming with about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of hot dogs, which turns out to be 7 to 8 dogs. So that'll be quite a bit of food there. And you can see here where it comes from on the cow. It comes from everywhere. And then we also have the prime tomahawk ribeye. The tomahawk's making a showing back here. You can see there the meat and bone prime tomahawk. That'll be 31 to 33 ounces. And then we've got the bacon infused salt from our friends at Cooper's Provisions. I've had this. It's amazing. So jump on that now if you're interested in the 4th of July. And then, as I said, we also have the June session package available as well. So that should be a really exciting time on July 4th. We're looking forward to that, and we'll have a fireworks show to go along with that as well. So it should be real exciting and a lot of fun stuff going on. We put on quite the show. And coincidentally, one of my best friends got a job this year at the fireworks store for the summer. So I'm thinking maybe we might get a good discount on some fireworks, so it might be bigger than the past. But we've got the steak resting on the side. We're going to put the lobster tail on now. We're going to go back to our guests, and we're going to talk a little bit more about cigars. And we're going to start eating here in a little bit. So if there's more food to be brought out and if Billy's around, he is more than welcome to bring that out, because I'll start cooking that. Because once I start eating, the three of us are going to eat this. So once we start eating, everybody's going to get jealous. So I have a question for you guys. So far, you've been watching the whole show. What have you learned, or what have you noticed that's a little bit different than what you might usually do? Is there anything here that's intrigued you? Do you have any questions about what's happening?
Well, I know, John, you like to cook on charcoal. I normally cook on propane. What's the differences?
So first of all, we're gonna shut the top here real quick for this lobster. We're gonna let this take some indirect heat as well as direct heat. We'll keep that closed for about 5 minutes. All right, so the main difference for me, I do cook on propane. Propane's instant heat. Once you turn it on, the fire, it heats up very quick. Charcoal, you obviously have to ignite it, and it takes a little while to heat up. But the difference between charcoal and propane for me is truly the flavor and the intensity that you can cook it at. It's very hard to get a high temperature with propane. There are some grill systems out there. The Auto Wild grill that you use that gets up to like 1200 degrees. That's a very centralized spot. But if you're looking for high heat and you're looking for a lot of flavor, the way to do that's with a lot of charcoal. Not only do I like charcoal, I like using a lot of it. So the more charcoal you use, the hotter the heat, and then the flavor from that charred wood uh, is fantastic. I'm huge with Royal Oak. It's lump charcoal. This is what we're using today. We're actually using the Royal Oak briquettes, but this is excellent. This is Parabian hardwood charcoal briquettes. Some of the best in the business. It's just really nice flavor to it. You can use hickory, mesquite, um, cherry wood, apple wood, lemon wood. There's all different kinds of woods you can use, and it all just really impacts the flavor. But for me, with a tempered cook, high intense heat for a short period of time, there's no better way to do it than with charcoal because it maintains. Once you have the heat to the level you want it, the closer you get it to the charcoals, the more heat you're getting. So the hotter the better when it comes to my cooking.
Is it always better to do tempered to cook? With the tempered method, where you're on and off. Is that sort of just always the way to go?
So the best example of this is you go out to a restaurant or you cook a steak at home and you cook it, and then as soon as you're done cooking it, you cut into it, right? And juices come out. And there's a lot of juice in the plate. What that is flavor that you're losing. And I know a lot of people like to eat their beef hot, like very fresh. But even with the resting period, you're eating it over 100 degrees, 95 to 100 degrees. So there's still some temperature to it. But you're keeping the flavor in and maintaining the integrity of that flavor. So I say sacrifice a little bit of the pleasure of temperature to enjoy more pleasure of flavor through that resting and that tempered cooking method. And it's taken on a lot of heat, so you don't lose a ton of temperature. But when you see that juice at the bottom of a plate, that's the flavors that are gone from the beef.
Mm.
So we got our lobster sitting on here, it's hanging out. Show here in the grill cam real quick. Just got it resting there. You see it's taking on a little bit of color here, so it's cooking up pretty nicely. Said 5 to 10 minutes on that is going to be the time frame on it. And right there's a good shot of the grill cam. Another thing about the tempered cooking method that I like is some people say, I do use sous vide from time to time, but a lot of people say with sous vide, they're like, oh, you can set it and forget it. The tempered cooking method allows you to have a nice fine cigar at the same time. Because you're cooking one steak, it's going to take you about an hour to do it. It's going to come out perfect. But in the meantime, you have a cocktail, you have a cigar, and you sit back and relax. And that for me is one of my favorite things about cooking. Like I enjoy the art and the time that it takes to cook food, as much as I enjoy eating it. So I like to include that all at the same time, and that tempered cooking method allows for me to have some great cigars at the same time.
I just want to say about this cigar that it's like every puff. There's so much flavor in this cigar. I mean, you find that, Johnny? Some cigars, you smoke them, and as you get into it, there's sort of peaks and valleys of the richness of the flavor and the changes. But with this cigar, I just find that every time I take a puff on it, it's so consistent, and it's just there's such tasty notes to it
And
that are constant. It's terrific.
one of the unique things about it for me too, Randy, is if you look at this ash, it's like almost razor sharp, but it's got that like light gray tint to it. It's white and light gray. That showing you that it's very well aged, well fermented tobacco, and you can see there's little, like, essentially like little dimes. Some people call it stacking dimes, but there's little spots where every time you took a puff, and then that color consistency comes back. So you got a little black right there where I puffed it, and then you see the color consistency come back in. So that's really well aged and fermented tobacco. I, I'm really enjoying this cigar, to be honest with you. I think it's fantastic. Obviously I smoke all the session cigars, and they're all fantastic. This one's definitely different than the other ones we've done, by the appearance and then by the actual performance of it too. I mean, this is a really special cigar that we put together here.
Yeah, it's full, but it's also really well balanced and smooth. It's just so right in my wheelhouse for the types of cigars that I like to smoke. I mean, and I smoke obviously thousands of cigars, but it's just right the way that I want it. Smooth, balanced, not overpowering, but plenty of strength. It's just he did such a great job with it.
Yeah, Lido. The fun thing about this concept is when we started hacking Gourmet and started involving, it was a cigar show, and at first we were talking, oh, maybe we'll just do it a cooking show, and When I started talking with my partners on the show, Brian and Fred, and then I started talking to Lito about it, I was, how do we turn this into an experience that's a niche environment, which is cigars, right? I spoke to Lito about it, and he was like, "This is awesome. This is great." Lito himself, and is a chef. Um, when it comes to cigars, but also the food, he's got a great palate. So when we've done these cigars, it's allowed him to produce cigars and pair them really with the dishes that we have. And I think it's been an excellent job. Last month we used our Reserva Special blend, and we made a special size for that that featured a set of Mayflowers. The concept was April showers bring Mayflowers. So that was really great, and that went great with the barbecue that we did. It was a nice medium-bodied cigar, and I think this tonight's a nice rich cigar to do with the steaks that we have and the lobster tail that we have, which is there's nothing more New York than a porterhouse. I mean, I would say probably the porterhouse was unofficially, if not officially, born probably in the state of New York at Peter Luger's. So yeah, it's been a really nice smoke, and I think it pairs great with what we're doing tonight. And we're gonna check on this lobster tail. We're gonna jump over to the grill cam. It's coming along nicely. We're just gonna touch it. Yep, this is just about done. It only just needs a few more minutes. So we're gonna put this off to the side over here, just a little bit off the heat. We're gonna end this steak here with 30 seconds on each side, and then we're gonna set it back up on its end, on the bone end, and let it have about a minute there to get a little more heat through the bone. And then we're just going to have a short rest there at the end, and we're going to probably have a perfectly cooked steak. One thing I do love about that Fogo charcoal that I'm using, see, it's got a nice black to it, but really gives a nice crust. I am jealous tonight that I could not find the truffle salt, because I'm a huge sucker for truffle salt. I think it really influences the flavors, especially with dry aged beef. The concept of dry aging is essentially you're aging it in a controlled environment, low temperature, low humidity, and there's air moving around in the aging room that they're in. And what that does is breaks down the fat, and it breaks that down and absorbs it into the muscular tissues of the side of beef, and that tenderizes it, and it gives it an incredible flavor at the same time. So the longer it ages, the more of that gets broken down, and it creates a crust on the outside of the beef. And what you do is you cut that off, and then this is what we have here inside, and it has incredible flavor. So let's flip that over one more time here, coming along nicely. If you look, you can see some of the juices here that came out, and if you watch closely, you can see that reabsorbing the juices. So that's really what we're doing with the resting period. So gentlemen, we're getting pretty close to eating some food here. I know you have things you've got to get back to inside there, like eating and getting everything done. Another like 20 steaks just showed up outside, so I'm going to start cooking these babies too. But thank you for having us and hosting us this evening. Thank you for the friendship over the years. It's been unmatched, and this is certainly a home for LFD, and it was a very special place for us to release this Long Island iced tea. So thank you all for that. I said I'm going to wrap this up over here. But we'll let you get back to what you're doing. But thank you so much, and we're looking forward to tomorrow night as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Thanks for everything you and LFD do for us.
So we'll let them go. We're sitting here smoking the Long Island iced tea, having a good time, sitting out back. I'm running solo tonight. It's been pretty fun. I miss the Colonel. If the Colonel's watching, I miss you. He was with us last week. Our friend Louis DeFazio here asked if we were at Tobacco Plaza. Yes, we are. I'm in the back of it here. I could be anywhere in New York. This is a pretty cool back spot here. We got some. Don't be scared by the bars on the window. That here in New York is just like a designer thing. So it's a nice part of town. If you've never been to Great Neck, I highly recommend it. Great golf, beautiful homes, good spot for cigars. Randy's in the back here. We've I don't know if you mind being on here. We have the owner of the Swan Club. This is like my audition tonight. He's letting me cook in his kitchen tomorrow, very bravely. And so I'm auditioning tonight. I think he knows that I think I know what I'm doing, but I don't know. We'll see. I think he's waiting until tomorrow. But we do have that there, Swan Club, beautiful venue. If you're in the New York area, unmatched. I'm not just saying. I said it before you were absolutely stunning. I hope I'm gonna learn. I've already learned a few from you today. So we got the final rest going here. We're gonna pull this baby off for a few more minutes here. The lobster tail is done. We'll bring this over so everybody can take a look at it. If you want to see the finished result of this, you check us out on Instagram. I'll post this on LFD. I'll post this across all of our social media channels here. You can find it on my Instagram. You'll find it on the LFD page. But this is the finished product. So we've got the Caribbean lobster tail and the dry-aged 45-day prime Porterhouse. So we've got the filet mignon here, very tender, and then we've got the New York strip here. This is all bone in, the best of both worlds. So that's your gourmet smoke session number 8. We'll see you all back tomorrow night. We will not be broadcasting, but you can see some of the pictures we'll have up on that. We'll take plenty. We've got a big dinner planned. What else we got going on? June 23rd is our next gourmet smoke session. That's with our friends in West End. In Arkansas, we'll be at their Conway store just outside of Little Rock. And then on July 4th, we'll have the fireworks extravaganza with Jack Schwartz out of Chicago. That starts at 7 p.m. Get on for that one. We'll be broadcasting the show and the fireworks after. There's a few surprises we've got planned for the night, too. So we'll have some special guests on there that'll be popping in. But July 4th, we'll be celebrating America. And then we'll also be announcing our end of July gourmet smoke session. The July 4th is a special episode, but our other gourmet smoke session will be at the end of July in Rhode Island. So keep an eye out for that. We've got some fun things planned for that. But we'll see you June 23rd. We'll see you July 4th. And we can find you all the time at hackinggourmet.com, Florida Minicana, on Facebook, lfdcigars.com. Thank you to our friends at Meat and Bone for the wonderful food. Thank you to the Swan Club tomorrow night. And most of all, thank you to the Tobacco Plaza for hosting us. And thank you for joining us this evening and enjoying the time. For now, we'll see you on social media. Enjoy your meal.